Well, Trump has been a busy man the last 48 hours regarding his cabinet picks.
What?
From the EPA,
What?
to Homeland Security,
What?
to Secretary of Defense.
You're kidding.
But what about the Secretary of State? Well, he tapped Marco Rubio out of Florida for that position.
Okay. All right.
But is it the right one? I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this Tulsi Gabbard, anyone?
No, she has no foreign policy background, policy understanding, concept of the cost of war, nor
Just saying. What's next? Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose, common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this day. Of course, it's midweek, closer to the weekend. Well, the last 48 hours, Trump has been a very, very busy man regarding his cabinet picks. From Lee Zeldin to the EPA to Christie known for Homeland Security? Really? No. To former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, former and of course Army vet, chosen to be his Secretary of Defense. And we'll talk about that in another video. But on this one, Secretary of State, prominent role in any presidential cabinet. Who did Trump pick? Well, he tapped Marco Rubio, yes, senator out of Florida, for that position. But was it a good one? I've got my opinion on who maybe should have been considered. But this coming out of Breitbart. Oh. This from the New York Post. Florida Marco Rubio is the right choice for Trump's Secretary of State. But is he? Jacksonville. Down the stretch of Donald Trump's campaign, only one senator was stalwart at his side. And while he might not have been the right choice for VP, given that J.D. Vance's evolution throughout the campaign, including questions and answers in every swing state market and expert dismantling of Tampon Tim in last month's debate, it's time to give the senator the role that he was born for. Again, or was he? While Marco Rubio is indeed correct when he says he has for days, he can help Trump achieves his objectives in the Senate. The reality is that all people on the short list, Senate colleague Bill Hagerty, former acting director of national security, national intelligence Rick Grinnell, among them, the 53 all-Miami Republicans best suited to accomplish Trump's foreign policy aims. In an interview after interview with outlets across the ideological spectrum, Rubio showed a clear-eyed view of America's myriad challenges on the global stage. Well, we're past the indispensable nation era of globalism espoused by figures like former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright, and America, with $36 trillion in debt, much of it accrued from previous decades of foreign conflicts, needs to pick its spots and pick them wisely. Rubio understands this, exemplified by Trumpian realpolitik on Ukraine. Quote, I think the Ukrainians have an incredible, brave, and strong when standing up to Russia. But at the end of the day, what we're funding here is a stalemate war, in my opinion, a proxy war. And it needs to be brought to the conclusion that the country is going to be set back for 100 years, Rubio said. I like that. Trump has positioned himself as an honest broker and helped litigate the peace between Russia and Ukraine. And Rubio will understand this assignment to get that done in a way that protects America's interests and both sides that are brutal war and a chance of peace with honor. The Senate has also been clear-eyed about the situation in Israel. It hasn't been just simply observing and pontification from afar. He was in the country this year. Upon his return, he reflected on essential alliances between Israel and the United States, making it evident that he sees a shared mission between the two countries. Israel's enemies are our enemies, and the Iranian regime with its proxies see Israel's destruction as part of a multi-stage plan to dominate the Middle East and destabilize the West. The Jewish state is on the front lines of this conflict, fighting with many shared American and Israeli lives, he wrote back in May for National Review. And there is the question of the Western Hemisphere, a place where America has far too long to allow Russia and China to subvert its national interests and allies, including right off the U.S. shores in Cuba. As I've written previously, this person has written, Trump leaned on Rubio, what the New York Times calls a virtual Secretary of State for Latin America, with policies being summed up by the MMRH, make Marco Rubio happy. Really? No. There's a reason why Rubio has earned Trump's trust with a part of the world that should be most important for American strategic aims. He speaks the language. He understands the issues in play, specifically his historic struggle pitting freedom and capitalism against socialism and despotism. There are opportunities for dynamic new alliances where the left have it unexplored by the feckless Biden. There are opportunities for the dynamic new alliances that were left unexplored by feckless dementia foreign policy. Leaders like El Salvador's Nayib Bukele, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Argentina's Javier Milei, who's a beast, who will in fact meet with Trump this week, yearned for a strong and resplendent foreign policy that privileges liberty over puppet totalitarianism. Like no one else Trump could pick for the job, Rubio is best equipped to facilitate these relationships and stave off our rivals on our doorsteps.
No, I will not. On the contrary. Are you filming it? So I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that.
I didn't pre-read this before doing this video, you know. So, I didn't know if Rubio was that involved. So I kind of questioned myself doing this, especially like in my intro, was he the right pick for the job? And of course, I threw out Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, former military herself, former congresswoman, former Democrat, also knows the language, also speaks the language regarding foreign policy and our quote-unquote forever wars. She hates them. She wants us out of them, and rightly so. She disdained American involvement with Ukraine. $200 billion, anyone? But yet, people are complaining about Tom Homan spending $98 billion to get illegals out of the U.S. I just don't get it. Priorities. But from what I read of Rubio, Rubio is very adamant regarding his protection of Israel. He's very adamant. For him to spend time in Israel, for him to spend time in regards to what's going on in Ukraine, it's extremely helpful. And but don't forget, people seem to forget, and people have short-term memories, of course, that Rubio was one of the ones instrumental in trying to pit one Ron DeSantis against him for the presidential nominee. He was instrumental in getting DeSantis, moving forward. Now, I don't know if DeSantis will deny this. I don't know if anybody inside will deny this, but I read enough on this to know that Rubio at the time was not the greatest Trump ally, but now he is. Two things. A, he likes licking the boots of Donald Trump, or B, he actually cares about what the situation is going on in Ukraine and Israel and the world around us to actually make a difference. Only time will tell. And with that being said, I'm Jasper Gonzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word. Really? Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.